There we go.
Well, welcome. It is Thursday. It is a brand new episode of the RoadFS CRM podcast, where every week we bring amazing, life-changing guests for you to help your business.
And Jody and Rod.
So, and we are super excited because this guy's been on my list for a long time to have on the show. So we finally gotten Tommy Davis.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, my brother?
Fantastic. Enjoying this weather we're having right now.
Yeah. You're not like Florida.
No, we're in second summer.
Yeah.
Second summer. So
we just got out of second summer. It was like 97 degrees the other day,
crazy.
and then it dropped down to like 60. So I think we're heading into
that is Idaho, though,
that's
man.
Idaho.
That's super crazy. So let's talk about you, Angel Wax. So let's start off. How did you what's your background story? How'd you get into detailing? And let's start there.
I got into detailing a long time ago as I was just one of those punk ass kids that really didn't have any direction. So one of my friends said, "Hey, I'm working for this guy and he needs some help washing some cars." And I was like, "Shit, I guess I can do that." And that's kind of how it got started. Little did I know that he was actually one of the only detailers in Los Angeles allowed on the movie studio lots. So I got my start doing industry stuff, Star Wagons and actors and production and all that kind of stuff, all on movie sets and things like that. And
cool.
Yeah, and we did that for about 15 years before I stepped out and went into another line of work for a while.
Well, I figured you might have been the double for Machete. Oh man! So
the double for Machete. I just think it's that whole taco connection there.
Yeah.
No. I mean, he's got the goatee.
I almost, I'm old enough that I shouldn't think about doing this stuff, but I was eating dinner the other night and I almost took a picture of my dinner because it was my birthday and what I asked for was tacos. So we had some really good street tacos, and I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of this and be like, there you go, that's a birthday. And then I was like, no, man, I'm too old for that. I don't take.
Oh, my wife takes pictures of everything. So 15 years you're working on movie sets, right?
Yeah, and then I did probably 10 years cleaning carpets and doing emergency floods work and things like that, and then piddled around with some other stuff before a friend of mine brought me back into detailing as I was coming out of a heavy addiction. He did that to try to keep me from falling back into that after being sober for a couple of years. That's kind of how I got back into it, just working for him in his shop.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we talk about that a little bit? Because I think there's a lot of guys in the industry that have, and they still are, coming out of addiction, right? So what are some key things that have really helped you work through that monkey, right? And broke the monkey, and, really knowing where you are within yourself and owning it and figuring out how to transition through that. And obviously you had somebody that definitely loved you enough to dig into you.
Yeah, man, I just had to work on keeping myself busy when I was trying to pull myself out of it. Every time I had a chance to just sit down and be by myself for a while, that's when you start thinking and getting down into things. So when my friend brought me into detailing, I spent all of my time in the shop. I rarely was here at the house giving myself that time. And if I was here, I was making sure I was occupying myself with my daughter and my wife, and just trying to keep that under control, because that it'll definitely eat at you, and it'll definitely suck you back in if you don't have anything or anybody in your circle.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that most people talk about with detailing, and it's not necessarily related to people that have had, addiction, is the kind of the cathartic nature of detailing, right? You just sort of can absorb yourself into it, and it just sort of takes over, a panel at a time, if you will. So you went from that to where you're at today? Now I know you still work on detailing your own cars and some other stuff, but now, so what is your official position at Angel Wax?
Now, today, right now,
Yes, sir.
Sales and distribution manager is pretty much what I am now.
Yeah.
Now that Angel Wax Europe has taken over control of Angel Wax USA, the Bolt, to relieve a little bit of the pressure from me. Now I can just concentrate on doing sales and distribution and not everything else, the growing and everything. It's helped, but that's what I do now. I'm strictly sales and distribution.
Okay. So then how did you make that transition from detailing, working in a shop, into Angel Wax? Did you just use the products and fall into it, or was it a calculated thing?
It was definitely not calculated. It was one of those dropped in my lap type things. I was working for the original company that were the original importers for Angel Wax. I was the detailer in their shop, and they're window tinners, automotive and commercial window tinting. That was their main gig. So, when you're trying to grow a brand and you're trying to start from scratch with nothing, you have to do favors for people. Sometimes you got to send someone a free product, or sometimes you got to schmooze a little. It's something that the guys weren't really giving me a chance to do. So what was happening was the growth wasn't happening as fast as they wanted it to. So in the end result, they just decided to shut it all down. They laid me off. They put all of the Angel Wax stuff in a storage unit. They shut their doors, left the shop, and went off doing flat glass, commercial flat glass out on their own. And that was a few months down the road before I got a phone call from the Worldwide Distribution Center, which is my man Rick, which you guys all know.
Yep.
He called me and he was like, "Hey man, what's going on with the Angel Wax? We haven't heard anything in quite a while." And I was like, "Oh, well, they didn't call you and tell you what happened?" And that was pretty much it. I told them that I was laid off and there hadn't been anything going on. We had one distributor at the time that I managed to sign right before they shut the doors, and that was my man Rohan. And he was having issues getting products in and whatnot. So Rick and his then boss at the time, Franz, flew all the way out here to Las Vegas, came to my house, sat in my garage, and we had a meeting. And in that meeting, they basically just handed me the keys to the car and said, "Start driving."
Awesome, man. That's awesome. And so you guys have got this very unique, not just the products. I mean, there's a ton of products out there, right? I mean, let's all face it. There's a ton of products. Everybody's got something good. Every single product company, I don't care who you are, have got that one at the bottom that you're like, yeah, it's not the greatest, but but everybody's got good products. So the thing that Angel Wax have is you guys have, like, I mean, more than most companies, I would say, like a family. Right. You guys are tight knit, man. When you show up, there is, the people in Angel Wax just seem to be really, really positive and a family. So how do you, for other guys that are out there that are trying to bring up a brand, and not necessarily a product, but like a shop or just their own business, how do you get that culture? How do you build that culture into a company?
I don't know, man. That's hard. That's something that's hard to explain or give someone advice on how to do, because it's kind of the way that I was raised. You know what I mean? And it's in my work ethic. So, as I was building it, I was trying to lay a foundation, so that everybody that I brought in would follow along. And for the most part, it's worked out like that. And I've been a little bit picky on the people that I bring in, for that fact, because I'm really big on vibing, and if I can vibe with you and I feel something like that, then it'll work out, and if not, then I'll pass most of the time.
I like that it was hard for you to articulate, because I think a lot of times we have these canned answers of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You're just like, look, you know what? I just wanted to bring people in my circle that I vibed with, we chilled with, we could build together. We had kind of similar values, and none of it is scripted or architected. And that's one of the things that I really love about you, Rain, Rashid, right? It's like you're just
John
dudes
Hogue,
that want to help people in their business, and you're very authentic. I mean, nobody gets more raw than the three of you guys, right? And you're authentically you. And I think that's part of the thing that people are drawn to the brand, is that they feel like they can connect with you, and that no matter what you throw at them, you guys got their back.
Yeah, I think, and that's the reason I asked that question, because Jody and I get asked that question a lot too, right? We've been doing this for 15 years, and some of our employees have been with us for 13,
Nice.
12, 10, 11. I mean, they've been with us a really long time, and people go, "How do you do that? How do you do that?" And you can't answer it. It's just like you said, it's, you get that feeling. You're like, yeah, this guy's going to work out, or this gal's going to work out. And sometimes Jody and I brought somebody in, and 3 months later, we're like, this dude ain't going to be here very long.
Yeah.
And so that is, yeah, it's family. Right, man. Right. And that's what I think that, the key is having, we're all doing this because this is what we do for a living, right? There's some passion involved in it. A lot of the people that are in detailing really, really like cars or planes or motorcycles or boats or whatever it is they're into it. But at the end of the day, we're doing this because it's what puts food on the table, and it brings us together with good people. I don't go to MTE every year because I know I'm going to get a bunch of money. That it costs us money to go. I go there because I enjoy seeing the people. I enjoy meeting people that I see once or twice a year, and getting to hang out and do stuff. And it just, with certain people, it just feels kind of natural, and other people, it's a chore, right? You get that group of people. Yeah. So I've always appreciated that about you guys. And partially just because of there's some really good connections between you and I, which is Stella for one, tacos for another,
tacos, baby,
cars for another.
That's right.
So anyway, I think that when we started our company, we didn't start a company and say we want to build money. We want to build something that makes a lot of money. We said we want to build a company that doesn't do what everybody we've always worked for does. We want to be that good company, right? We want to reach out. We want to help people. And I think that's a key to it, is just being genuine and treating people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah. It's when I first started doing this, I had been unemployed for a while. You know what I mean? From being laid off from the detailing and then starting to get back into this, I had no form of income, but that's not why I did this. I did this, one, because I needed it, for myself, and two, because I run away from challenges. I'm one of those kind of guys. You know what I mean? If something gets really challenging, I'll turn my back and walk away. I don't give a shit. It doesn't mean nothing to me. But this one was different, and it felt different. And that's why I worked on selling myself first before I even started pushing the products. And then once I started making, my way through meeting a bunch of people, then it was a little bit easier for me to start, mixing the products in there with it. But I've never, even to this day, I don't do it for the money.
What made this different? Because I think there are a lot of people that are still trying to figure out where they fit, right? So what was it that you just knew it was different for you, and you were willing to accept the challenge instead of turn away from it?
I don't know. It was a feeling that I had inside of me. I was one of those guys watching all my friends struggle running their own businesses. So I was always the guy that was like, I'll never own my own business. I see you guys struggle every day. That's not what I want. And then when the opportunity was dropped in my lap, I still was like, this isn't what I want, but this is something that I need to do because I have to do something to keep myself occupied. And I think that's where most of it came from. I was doing it to keep myself from falling back into a dark hole that I could see coming back towards me. You know what I mean? Like, I could feel myself slipping. So at the end of the day, it was something that I needed to do. And I felt inside that if I could do this, then I could do just about anything.
So how has that changed your mindset? Now that you've built through this, what has changed in your mindset about yourself, about business, about, the future?
I still don't like owning my own business. That's a thing, but I don't know if it's that's a good question. That's a good question.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So
That's okay.
That's all right, man. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's talk. I want to talk about Angel Wax a little bit because
Okay.
I had very limited access to doing anything with Angel Wax, and in the last year, I have had probably 3 or 4 different opportunities to do stuff with Angel Wax. I've been at I think 3 trainings with Rain. I got to spend 4 days in a house with Rain.
Nice.
I think they knew we were coming because it's the only Airbnb I've ever been to where instead of leaving a little snack on the kitchen counter, there were bottles of wine.
Oh, nice.
So, hey, there's Mr. John right there. John Hogue, the man.
Yep.
So, the question I have about Angel Wax is, first off, I had a different impression going into it. Secondly, Rain is a completely different guy when you get to know him. He's a really, really good guy. I really have gotten to like Rain, and his girlfriend was there. It was a really cool trip. So talk about the products and the process, because John's on here, and I know that it's one of the only places where you can go where he'll mix stuff on site. But what is it like having a John right there to mix stuff and to give feedback to?
You know, that's been a pretty good learning experience. He's I love being able to just call him, and well, I can't call him, but message him at any point in time, and when he has the time, he'll message me right away. And you know, there aren't many companies where you can go to and you can message your chemist and be like, hey, we're having a problem with this product, or maybe you can change something like this, and you have something at your doorstep in a week, 2 weeks later, with a new version of it. Tell me what you think.
Yep. And you guys mix everything. That's one of the really unique things about, there's only a few companies that I know of that actually have chemists on staff that mix the stuff. And I know that a couple of years ago, I got a little vial of some wheel coating.
Okay. Yep.
Some more of that because there wasn't enough to do the whole car, John. Are you like, he's like a just enough.
That's right.
Just enough.
It's all about sales and distribution.
That's right. It's got to keep you coming back and wanting more.
That's right. Well, then there was some whiskey that took place, and that was pretty decent too. And I'm not sure if he mixes his own of that, but
it's always whiskey.
Yeah, there's a lot of I would say a lot of passion in the products.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, you and Rain and Rashid and John, from what I've seen, you guys have a lot of passion for the actual products. And the first time I got to use some of the marine products was in Jacksonville a couple of months ago, and it was literally right after the hurricane, and it was the most insane amount of heat. Rashid Baker, I do not know how you live in that environment, but the products performed really, really well, even in those extreme conditions. The one day, no kidding, it was 101 degrees and it was 96% humidity, and I think the dew point was like 85. It was just stupid hot. Other products were there that were not being able to handle the humidity and the heat, but the Angel Wax marine line was actually doing just fine. And we actually did some, we didn't plan on doing it, but Rain did some stuff with 2 different kinds of coating on a rental car. And you did, I think we did, what did we do?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I was stuck in an airport.
Rain, what products did we use on that? I can't remember. Used
I was stuck in an airport.
Yeah, no, Jody was stuck in an airport, but I can't remember which products we used the coating, and so I don't want to misname it. But we were able to do 2 different types of coatings, all the marine stuff in that environment, and it was very, very enlightening just to watch Rain be concerned about how the product was performing and whether it was doing this or doing that, and it was that's what I've seen with all you guys. So that's something. Again, I'm not going to ask you how you build it because you can't answer that question. It's just either in you or it's not.
Yeah, and the thing with Rain is a very unique individual, and one of the main reasons why I chose him to even be a trainer is, I'm very stubborn. I'm a very hard person to teach something new to. Um, Half the time I'll block you out if I'm just not interested. But Rain, he's got that ability to get down on your level or up on your level, depending on where you're at, and still be able to reach you and connect with you on that level. And I can't explain it. It's just, it's weird. And that's what I look for in trainers, and what I look for to bring people on my team is someone that, if I can learn from you, then shit, anybody can learn from you.
Yeah. So two things. Yes, it was Nebula and Genesis. I knew it was Genesis was on one side, but I wasn't sure the other one. And yes, he was correct, Rashid. It was 487 degrees. You brought extra shirts to change part of the way through the day because you couldn't even stand it. It just, dude, that guy, Rashid, obviously, I think what it is he actually signed a deal with the devil.
Probably.
He's prepping him for hell. He's prepping him to live in hell. I literally, I felt like a greeter in hell. Like people come to hell, here, pick up your polisher. This is, so.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly down there.
Yeah. Well, it was right after the hurricane as well. They just kicked us some really weird crap. But so, yeah, the Nebula and Genesis, and it wasn't the original formula Genesis. It was the newer formula, Genesis, which is just the fact that there's a new formula is really cool. And
we did that for those guys down in that area. It was a lot of R&D to get it to where they could even do something with it.
We do it from the quality of feedback I get from Tommy Rain. Yeah, that's cool. That's great.
Awesome.
So, we're always on their asses.
Yep. But the products worked really well, and they actually were pretty easy to use. Some of the stuff, like I know that the first training I ever saw Rain do was a 2-part coating, and we left it on the hood to make sure that we could like show people what a high spot was, and that hood will never come off. It's going to take like 80 grit to get it off of there. So it's a really good coating. So what do you guys got coming up, right? You got SEMA coming up. Do you have new products coming online? Or are you just,
to be honest with you, I don't know about any new products. I haven't really been told if we're going to be releasing anything or not for SEMA. That's kind of up in the air. More than likely, there's something coming out. But yeah, I don't really know. Sometimes John likes to keep that stuff secret, right, John?
Yeah. So now,
mad scientists in the background.
Yeah.
How long have the marine products been on the market?
We released them at SEMA last year.
Yeah. So I knew that they've been around for, I was going to say about a year, but they are actually, I mean, we get to work with a lot of products, which we're very lucky in that aspect. We get to go to a lot of trainings, a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Marine products are very good products. They were unbelievable. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I love that.
That is the advantage.
So let me read that. Rashid's testing and R&D with the marine line has been huge for installers in hot climates.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the cool things about Angel Wax is you have such diversity of areas. And so you can really give perspective that allows John to go, all right, maybe we need to make this change in the formulation to support different areas. So that's huge.
This is in response to the question about SEMA and new products.
Yeah, and R&D is important too, especially in real world situations. A lot of these companies, they do R&D, it's all lab tested, and a lot of times you can't mimic some of these situations in a lab. So that's why we prefer to do our R&D with our actual installers and people in our network to get the true feedback.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's really key. Because I think with anybody that has a product, and I don't care if it's a polish or a wax or that, or if it's an actual hard product like a machine or a pad, you've got to get real world testing. You've got to get actually how people are going to use it. I've used some pads that, man, I was using them on powder coating on a car frame, right? A pretty rough environment, and they just disintegrated.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, this is not good. This has never been tested on anything except for a super flat panel with no edges or anything. So that's great. And so you guys have a booth at SEMA. You're going to MTE.
Yep.
Where else are you guys going to be? Anywhere through the end of the year, or just those two?
I don't know. We're thinking about making a shift and going back to doing, or not going back to, but start getting more into like shows, like car shows, like big lowrider shows and events like that. And maybe cutting back on the SEMA funding a little bit, like for next year, and maybe dialing it down a little bit and getting more out with the people throughout the rest of the year, sponsoring more events, going to more of those types of events. Because we do sink a lot of money into SEMA every year because, that's the biggest show of the year and you want to show out, but you got to show out to more people that don't come to that show. Cause there's a lot of people that don't go to that show that are still
boat shows.
Yeah. Boat shows.
Well, no,
I'm with you, buddy.
And
you and I will go rocket.
It's true.
Yeah. Boat shows is one huge one. Yeah.
Yeah. We've talked to you guys, and we're not going to give up any secrets, but there's some events coming up next year that you guys have been contacted about going to.
Yeah.
I know that Rain has asked me several times, because with Detailers at the Roundtable, we have events 5 times a year, and they're great events. Every one of the events we've had, those are very intimate, and the people go away really having an understanding of hands-on with the product. I think that's what I like about the smaller shows is, if I want to try a product, we can do that. We can take which, hey, sorry if anybody from a rental car is listening, but every time we working on it, so you guys all owe me for the details on all the rental cars. So you get your hands dirty on it. You get to see what it does. You get to see how it reacts. Because that's really the only way to understand a product is to use it, is to get your hands on it. I mean,
absolutely.
You could sell somebody, you could be this slick looking, suit and tie guy and be, man, this is the greatest product. And we have $500 million invested in it and the testing and all the stuff, and sound great. But when you get your hands on it, that's when you see if the product's good or not.
Exactly.
That's what one of the things I like about the detailing industry is the fact that there's not a lot of those suit and tie kind of guys. There's not a lot of people pushing that corporate line. It's just regular people saying, yeah, I've used that product. It works great. Dilute it 2 to 1 and it works awesome. If you dilute it 3 to 1, it works great as this, so that's what I like about just what I call regular guys, just regular people that do the job and understand it. So
that's my favorite part too, because those regular guys will take a product that's meant for something. They'll find 10 other things that they can use that product for that you never even knew about. And then that opens up a whole new window, so.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what people need. I mean, especially this time of the year when things start to slow down in the automotive detailing world, like right now in the parts of the country that it's starting to get colder, this is the time of the year to start pushing, get a coating on your boat before you wrap it up for winter, get that RV taken care of before the end of the season, that kind of stuff. And moving that transition into what you're going to do in the winter states that have winter, which is getting the salt off the sides and massive interior work and stuff like that.
So for those that are not familiar with Angel Wax, what's the distribution channel? Is it direct with you guys, or can you get it through somebody else?
We have a main website that you can order from, which is direct. But we also have distributors.
All right, we got to read this because we're all sorry.
Yeah.
Just threw us
secrets. He's
so this is what's happening at SEMA. We will be making some panel prep, water spot remover, which I need.
Really good.
Coatings, special waxes, and maybe some special requests, beer oil, and maybe some whiskey.
Very nice. Very nice. There you go, Mr. Kirk Evans from Details Roundtable. So
that's awesome. So let's go back to the distribution. We got derailed by John. So what's the distribution? How do I get the Angel Wax products, and how do I get trained? And do I need training?
You can contact me through Facebook or through email, tomdavis196@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, angelwaxus.com, where you can also fill out a request form to be an installer or to be a reseller or something like that. As far as that goes, or just buy products, we have several distributors across the United States. We got Jeremy Armstrong up in Minnesota. We got Kyle Duke down in Missouri. Got Vincent Gentile down in California.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And if they can't find you or Rain online, then they're, like I said, they're not looking. They're
Yeah,
just,
they're not looking hard enough because one of us is usually online all the time. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and the thing about Rashid, that guy is always online, actually showing real boat work.
yeah,
That guy, he is hands down, in my opinion, one of the best dudes in the industry when it comes to overall boat repair, maintenance, detailing. That guy knows his stuff.
yeah, and it doesn't matter who you're affiliated with. If you have a question, he'll help you.
Yes.
No questions asked,
yeah, for sure.
except the right questions.
Kirk is trying to get an Angel Wax beard oil sponsorship. I'll be the model.
Oh gosh,
Wow.
dude,
Oh man, here we go.
No,
here we go. So what's interesting for me, really interesting, is the water spot remover, because in Idaho we have extremely hard water.
Yeah.
And so it leaves water spots on everything. And that was one of the things that we saw in Jacksonville, is there was a Corvette there that had a wrap on it and it had water spots all over it. It was just horrible. And so the quality of whatever, whether it's rainwater or whether it's water from your hose that's getting on your car, there in Idaho, it's horrible. We have this thing,
dude,
and it is so nasty.
And I'm helping a friend this Saturday with some really bad water.
It gets so bad that you scrape it off with a razor blade. It looks like it's a powdery. It's really,
yeah.
So
all that calcium.
Yep, exactly. So get on those products. And I think that's the key, is just having companies that come up with products that are innovative, that solve a problem.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that it's great that you guys are on top of it and you listen. And, you know, the fact that John is even on this podcast, right? How many times
isn't he in Germany or something?
Yeah. How many times have we had
He's in the UK.
Well, that's where Richard. So we got two people from the I'll be working on my beard poses.
Oh, God.
Dude, leave your pants on.
Yes.
So we got two people from the UK on here. You're in Las Vegas, we're in Boise. This is like an international podcast, which is fabulous. And Jody and I are going to be in full force at SEMA.
Yes.
We have some wicked cool new additions.
A wicked cool new addition.
If you think that our podcast
booth.
booth that we were rolling around last year was cool, wait till this year. It's over the top. So
we had a good time last year.
Yep, we will be doing that again live at SEMA and all these things. Maybe we'll get our hands on some of these products.
Hybridized 180 is
from
awesome.
Sean
Kozer.
Sean Kozer, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, that stuff's pretty incredible.
Yep.
I'm not familiar with that one. What does that do?
It's almost like our Dream Coat. It's like a spray on rinse off.
Okay.
Ceramic infused deal, but it's really, really, really good. Like, you can ask Rashid. It's something that, like, if you forget to delete it, if you forget to dilute it down, you're going to kill somebody. You're going to slip. You don't want to spray it on certain things, but it's really good. It's a good product.
That's awesome, man. When used correct. That's
why I said Rashid tried to kill somebody with it the first time he used it.
The best part about that is that we know some other people that if you do have that happen, we can help you hide the bodies.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. We got holes out here in the desert.
That's right.
That's funny, man. Oh man. Well, we're really looking forward to catching up with you guys. And gosh, it's hard to believe it's going to be less than a month that we're going to be in SEMA.
Yeah, it's sneaking up on us.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
We will be in SEMA. Jody and I have a stop in Kentucky. Dream Coat rocks too. Thank you, Kyle from Colorado. We're going to be in Kentucky for a massive global SV and IDA.
Oh,
and we actually have 26 people getting certified in the same weekend.
Wow.
We're flying people in from all over to do the RT and the blind receipt bigger. Did you use dilution ratio? It's supposed to be diluted. It's straight, Rain.
That was an actual conversation.
Yeah. A little salt right here. You lick the salt, you shoot it down, and then you back it up with a little bit of a enigma. So anyway, we'll be there, and then we're going to be down at SEMA. Obviously, it's 4-1. Rashid says, just in case everybody's wondering, 4-1.
That's awesome. So. Well, man, we always love hanging out with your guys, man. You have a great team.
Yep.
Oh, thanks, man.
Everybody go out to the YouTube channel and subscribe to
That's
the
right,
RoadFS
man.
YouTube channel so we can keep doing this. Just literally the subscriptions are all that does it.
We're almost to 500 episodes. This is a 492nd episode of the RoadFS podcast. We just keep having great conversations like this. I mean, it's just we love doing this. To me, it's my favorite part of the week because we get to actually talk to real people instead of talk to each other across the office.
There's one more comment.
And so you guys, please reach out to the Angel Wax team. They are absolutely incredible. You will love the connection, the knowledge, the service that you get. They're top notch.
Yep.
And
very hands-on
Yep.
and just great guys. They're so reach out to them. If you haven't used any of the products, obviously go to the SEMA show, get some products, go to any of the trainings. These guys they're not shy to give away stuff. Like you were saying at the beginning. I mean, everybody walks away with something cool that they can try. If you're interested in talking to people that actually use the products, Tate and Trout, Kyle Camus, Rashid Baker, talk to these guys. They use it every day. So thanks, man. I appreciate it, Tommy.
Thanks, guys. Had a good time.
Yep. And you guys look for us to be next week. We actually Thursday we will be traveling.
Not have a podcast.
We're going to Kentucky. But we will be going live from Kentucky on Friday and probably Saturday as well.